Good morning. I am Jackie Jones. I'm the Community Affairs Superintendent for Metro Parks. And on behalf of Metro Parks, I would like to welcome you to this very historic honor for Lock 2 Park. I want to thank all of you who came out today, and I hope that this event will be something that will be historic not just for Lock 2 Park, but for this neighborhood and for the city of Nashville. So, to get things started, I'd like to introduce to you 15th District Councilman Jeff Syracuse. He is responsible for the honor that we're having for this park today. Councilman Syracuse.
Good morning, everybody. I'm thrilled that you're here, and thanks for those that are joining us online and watching this on the Metro Nashville Network and live on Facebook. Welcome to the 15th District. So we are standing at the very tip of the 15th District, and the Cumberland River is right behind me. We are at the very end of Pennington Bend, and the history of Pennington Bend is quite fascinating. And specifically to Lock 2 Park's history is an integral part of all of that. This park here is a very special place to a lot of neighbors. It's a very special partnership between Metro Parks, Metro Historic, and the Corps of Engineers. And I am thrilled today that we have two special guests to share with you the history of the park, their engagement with the park, maybe even a little bit of engineering about how the locks worked back in the day. And so we have Bill Holman, who is the son of the lockmaster, and we have Lieutenant Colonel Sonny Archibald, who is the Nashville District Commander of the Corps of Engineers here. So two very special guests, and I'm thrilled that they're here to join us. First, we are going to kick it over to Jessica Reeves in our Metro Historical Commission to give you a little background and history on this very special place. Thanks again for joining us.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, as Councilman Syracuse said, thank you so much for joining us. We're really excited. It was actually his idea to host this this virtual unveiling, since we didn't want to, invite a ton of people out, even though we're moving into phase 3. As of Monday, I think, but we still didn't know whenever we started planning this event exactly where we would be in that whole process. So I think this is a really great idea, a way to engage the neighbors and the neighborhood, but then also let other people who can't show up to a park at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday to also be involved and to see this. So I've been with the Historical Commission since 2017, and I've been in charge of the Historical Markers program since then. And this is definitely my favorite part of my job. It's excellent. I get to learn really, really nuanced history about a wide range of topics, things I would never, ever think that I would be interested in learning about, the engineering behind the locks and dam system. I grew up about an hour east of here in Smith County and remember going to Lock 7 Park as a child. Never knew what that meant. Didn't know why it was called that or what had happened there to give it that name. Sort of similar to, I think we have Lock 1 and Lock 2 here in Nashville. Probably a lot of people just assume, that's just the name, how those old parks are. They just have names sometimes. So we're really excited. We're going to have a marker here now that explains why it was called that, what the history is behind that. And one thing that I think is really, really interesting is this partnership between the Corps of Engineers and the Parks Department actually started even before Metro started. So the Davidson County Parks started leasing this land in 1956. We didn't become Metro until the 60s. So this park, in addition to its very interesting lock history, also predates Metro, so has its own special history as well. Plus it has a pretty cool pirate ship playground. So, what's not to like? So this this has been a really excellent partnership between the Corps, between Parks, between the council member. Want to thank Metro Council for allocating funding back to us in 2017 to do all of these historical markers. We've been placing historic markers across the county since 1968. Usually they're privately funded, but over the past few years we've been able to do one new historic marker in each council district plus a priority list. And this is part of our priority list because this park has a local landmark significant overlay protecting it. So there's already that partnership between Parks and Historic. So this just adds to that, and we're just really thrilled to have a new marker in District 15. I want to thank Councilman Syracuse so much for his support of the Markers Program and of the Historical Commission. And now I will turn it over to the District Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Sonny Avichel, and he's going to tell you a little bit more about the very fascinating history of Lock 2 Park. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you all for letting me be here today and celebrate this historic site and marker. Jeff, thank you so much for inviting me. Jessica, this is an absolutely amazing day. When we think about the Corps of Engineers and our history in this region, it's actually pretty fascinating. The Corps of Engineers in the Nashville district is actually started in 1888 with the first district commander who has my position, Colonel William Barlow. And he established this for the next 35 years from 1888 to 1924. They established the Cumberland River as a future waterway. And back then, you have these small craft and these ships keep getting bigger and bigger. And there's a huge desire and a need to transport goods and commerce up and down the river. And so in that master plan, they established 15 locks. All those locks have long gone, and the river itself is much wider and deeper than anybody had originally ever thought of as ships got larger and larger. But this lock number 2 was actually completed in 1902, and actually the portions of it remain here today. So it's really amazing that the city and Metro have thought of this lock and being able to preserve it, because it's not only an important part of this local county and area here, but it's a part of the Corps of Engineers. So just the commemoration of this marker and lock is really a culmination of a partnership. And this partnership didn't start yesterday. It started back in the late 1800s with establishing the Cumberland River as a major waterway system here. Federal, state, and local levels have been working together for the last 150 years to make projects like this happen. So it's really important that we look at that and we understand where we've come from and where we work and how we can work together in the future. For this marker in particular, the Corps worked continuously with mayors Carl Dean, Megan Berry, David Briley, John Cooper, Metro Council members, Metropolitan Historic Zoning Commission, Metropolitan Historical Commission, Metro Parks and Recreation. It has not been a one agency or a one-person show. It has really been teamwork and partnership. Like the projects of the last 100 years, the Corps is excited and humbled to be part of this historic landscape and to be part of this region. We'll continue to work in partnership with our communities and find ways to celebrate our past and prepare for our future. So the motto of the Corps of Engineers is Essayons, means let us try, and our call sign is Building Strong. So with that, Essayons and Building Strong. Thank you.
My name is Bill Holman, and I just want to thank each and every one that has a part in this historical day. It means so much to me. It's really dear to my heart because I was born here. My mother and dad transferred from Lock C here to Lock 2 in either 1927 or early 28, because the house sat right there just between the tree and that playground. The house was identical to this house on the inside and outside, with the exception of the back porch steps. The steps on this house comes down 2 or 3 and then turns left and goes down. The steps on the house I was born in was 13 steps come straight down off the back porch. I'm telling you that because that's going to come up in just a few minutes. I was born there in that house December 26, 1928. I lived there until the Korean War. 1950 I was drafted and went in the military. I was gone for almost 2 years. Then when I came back, my daddy, Mr. Pruitt at the time, was lockmaster, and he retired. I will mention Mr. Singleton was a lockmaster when I was born here. And he passed away, I don't know, I was probably 10 or 12 years old. Mr. Pruitt came in, then when he retired, my daddy was promoted to lockmaster. So they moved from this house to that house while I was in the military. When I came back, then I lived up here, and that was my bedroom on the end until I got married in August 1954. I have many, many fond memories of this, and this is why it means so much to me, because this is where I spent most of my life. I probably traveled that road more than anybody else ever has. It was a little narrow brown gravel road then. I don't want to bore you, but I do want to tell you a couple of little quick stories. We got flooded almost every year. Down below the reservation, that's what we called it then, was reservation. There was a slough that backed up the water. When the water would rise, it would get across the road out here at that slough. Well, they would take the cars and leave them up there. My dad would take me across in a skiff, rowboat, across, and I would walk on to school. It wasn't uphill both ways, but it felt like it. But anyway, I'd walk on to school. So as the water would rise, it would get across another place up the road. He would put me across in a skiff. We'd walk to the next spot. He'd put me across in another skiff, and I'd walk on to school. As the river rose, all that joined together. And the water would be from here to about 200 yards this side of Pennington Bend Road. He would take me up in a skiff. On Monday morning, I'd go to school, and I'd stay with a neighbor till Friday. After school, he would meet me up there and bring me back home. So that went on most of my school years. And then the biggest flood I remember was 1937. And remember, I told you this house had 13 steps coming off the back porch. Well, the river got so high that we would come off the back porch, get on the second step from the top, and get in the skiff. Then we'd go up to the Pennington Bend Road. That was a lot of water. Most every year, the reservation would get covered. It would back up here first, and then it would come over the bank. But that was some fond memories of those days. Another little story I want to tell you right quick, and then I'll close. I have a lot I could tell you. But during the war, my brother was born in 1940 in this house. He was born in the hospital, but he was living here. During the war, they had to put a gate up out here and lock the gate. We could not have any company at all unless you worked here or lived here. If I had buddies to come to play with me, I'd have to go outside that gate, play in the road until my mother would bring out cookies or something for us. But anyway, that's some of the memories I had. And this was a place of gathering on Saturdays and Sunday afternoons. People in the Bend just thought this was the greatest place, which it was. There was a croquet yard right there, and they played croquet from sunup to sundown sometimes. My daddy and mother and the other couple and all the people here. But I don't want to go on because I don't want to get emotional, because I might do that talking some other things I could tell you about this place, and I have fond memories. Couldn't have had a better parents, couldn't have had a better place to grow up. And it means so much to me. And I do thank you all again for doing this.
Mr. Holman?
Yeah, we're not done.
Oh.
Are you ready for the unveiling of the historic marker? So, if the Lieutenant Colonel, Mr. Holman,
Yeah,
are you ready to help us with the unveiling here?
we'll grab this side right over here.
Which way? Come right forward down?
We'll come forward. Yep,
You
we're
ready?
gonna grab this one.
Are you ready? All right. 3, 2, 1. There we go. All right.
Okay. Well, that concludes our program, everyone. Oh, sorry. We'll stick around, get some photos of everybody up here if anyone else wants to take photographs of the marker. But thank you to the neighbors who came out, everyone masked up and socially distancing and everything like that. So thank you all so much. Have a great day.